Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Haha, welcome. This is the Sports Trapp Podcast. And my name is John Trapp. Mr. Christopher C. Rod Rodriguez is always joining me. Where's Khoa?
Where the hell is Santa Khoa? Oh, I see his hand.
Mr. Wizard of Oz himself is under the weather a little bit, but hey, man, ho, ho, ho. This is the Sports Trapp Christmas special.
I said, what'd you call me?
He called you a ho ho.
Oh, damn, that's messed up, man.
But he didn't say he didn't say ho ho ho. He said ho ho.
Oh,
so we know he's talking about you, Khoa. It's disrespect.
Damn.
Hey, no. My man, on the ones and twos, Mr. Khoa. How you doing, sir? I know you're under the weather, feeling a little
bit.
Don't cough. No coughing on the mic, so we're going to keep it to a minimum.
Ladies, I know out there you're really sad to not have your sexy King Prince here, but he is here. He's in the back. But if you want to see, send your warm wishes in any type of soup. He loves soup, so go ahead and send that to him because, yes, he is always looking for a good woman to take care of him.
All right. As always, let's get into the show. So we got to update a little bit on the Rockets, man. Could this be Daryl Morey and D'Antoni's last go around? See if this iteration of the Rockets can finally do something. And if not, does that mean their time in the Houston area is done?
I'm gonna quote the Boyz II Men: "The end of the road."
And there's a lot of
Still
reminiscing on that.
Can't let go.
All right. And man, we gotta talk about these Texans, man. They finally had a big win, biggest win of the year, in my opinion.
They're good for having a big win, then a big loss, then a big win, then another big loss. So I'm assuming we're gonna be talking about their future big loss.
Oh man, we'll see how far this Texans can go, but. Also, man, I can't. I'm sorry, man. I know we didn't want to talk about this, but I'm frustrated with the way that the Patriots have been getting a pass and seeing what they can, what's going to happen with them if something goes down on the lines for their Spygate 2.0 or 3.0 if you want to include the Astros. But we'll get in that too, Chris. You see a problem?
I mean, it's only cheating if you're banging on trash cans.
Apparently. And as always, pick sixes. How did we do last week compared to how we're going to do? And we might have to do a little foreshadowing here because we might have to go ahead and pick two weeks in advance, or at least see what teams we think are going to make the playoffs. So we'll get into that. So as always, without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, man, we have our ears to the street. Little birdies have been chirping in our ears talking about what the Houston Rockets can do and how their season's going, how their season progressing. And to be honest with you, do you think that they can get out of the hole that they're in as far as like they did last year? Because right now we're staying afloat, but we're not taking the lead by storm, especially the way we thought they were, especially with Westbrook. But Chris, I mean, is this the best team that the Rockets can be?
Unfortunately, for Tita Tillman, he wanted us to go all in for Russell Westbrook, and although Russell Westbrook brings a completely different game compared to Chris Paul as far as athleticism, youth, the one thing that he needed to have to be successful on this team is a shot, and right now he doesn't have a shot. So this is allowing teams to double team James Harden and basically say, hey, James Harden, you're not going to beat us, but everyone else has to beat us. There's only been a few games this season that's actually happened where a lot of the players stepped up and hit big shots. So it is a tell-all. I think not having Eric Gordon on the team has really hurt us a lot because he does bring that dynamic ability to score on his own, hit those big shots. And then not only that, but this is probably the first year in a long time where the Rockets don't have a lot of assets to even make some, quality Daryl Morey trades like he normally does to add, a substantial shooter or a two-way player or someone that can help us keep James Harden from being double teamed. But I do want to say this though, even though James Harden is being double teamed, he's still damn near averaging almost 40 points, and that's with less free throw shots than he's had in the last couple of games than he's had in a long time. So for all those James Harden haters out there, you know who you are. He's also one of the best as far as plus minus on offense and plus minus on defense. So for those who think he can't play defense either, he's actually showing he can play defense as well. So
it's funny, like the way the narrative changes with James Harden is he dribbles too much. Okay, he take the dribble away. Let him have to share with Westbrook, and so now he gets one-on-ones too much. Okay, well you take the one-on-one away, and he's shooting. His shot wasn't falling at first, but he started shooting better, and he's averaging 40, 50.
He doesn't pass.
He doesn't pass, or the second to last one was he was shooting too many free throws, right? So all of a sudden he's averaging like single digit free throws the first time all year, and he's still averaging over 40 points a game. In fact, I think he had 2 or 3 back to back 50-point games. So after that,
according to Scottie Pippen, he could do that if he was playing in today's basketball, so he's not impressed by that. Obviously from him saying that, it seems like that's something that's happening on a regular basis, but it usually feels like the only time we ever hear about any 50-plus point games is usually from only one person. That's James Harden. Right. But then the narrative that's all James Harden cares about. He just cares about scoring points.
That's the narrative. Like, all he cares about is scoring, which is ridiculous to me. I mean, like, what's the object of the game? The object to me is putting the basket the ball in the basket. So, I mean, in my opinion, he's a shooting guard or even a point guard. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's either the general on the floor or putting a ball in the basket, and it doesn't matter. I guess we were talking about this, and you said, I guess the most important thing is it's all speculative, it's all relative, it's all basically nonsense until he wins a ring. I mean, I honestly don't know at this point even if he wins a ring, he'll even get the due that he's deserved, because I don't know, man. I'm seriously thinking that this is the greatest one-on-one player I've ever seen. And besides Michael Jordan, I guess you could go to Kobe Bryant or even Allen Iverson. But I think at this point, he's clearly above all three of them as far as one-on-one. But
I would say anybody who's a James Harden hater, don't go by the narrative that the national media continues to throw in our face. Like, really watch his game, because there's a reasons why 90% of the NBA athletes that he plays against have a tremendous respect for him, because they know what he's doing is really hard. It's a national media that doesn't like it. And I like to believe that if James Harden was on any other team than the Rockets, he'd be praised. Matter of fact, he probably would have won MVP the last 3 years in a row.
Right.
Because he should have won 3 MVPs. He actually has an argument that he should have won MVP the last 3 years in a row.
It's hard for me to not feel slighted as a Houston fan, but it's getting to the point where I'm getting kind of frustrated, and I feel like the bridesmaid, but never the bride. And I know that's a weird analogy, but at the same time, it's like at some point, Houston has to get their praise. Houston has to get their due, and whether it's James Harden or the Houston Astros, even the shine that we got lately has been taken away. So I don't know. I think at the end of the day, maybe they don't like the way James Harden looks or the way
I'm telling you, there's always something new. I get that he's fat. He goes to the strip clubs. He looks like he doesn't care. It looks like he doesn't have any like he's not like motivated. Like, I get so much crap. Somebody said the other day that I was talking to, that's an old school basketball player. He said that the problem with James Harden is that it's all about him. The offense is all about him. And then I told that person, well, who's your favorite player? And this person let me know that his favorite player growing up was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And I asked him, I said, so the offense wasn't like built around them? So don't give me that the offense is all about James Harden, because your best players, that's the reason why they're the best players in the game. I've never seen a team in the NBA or any like in NBA history where their best player is not like the go-to offensive player.
it's funny because at the same time we can sit there and we can say that, and then when Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Matt Johnson, they were all averaging anywhere from like 90 to in the low hundreds, and now we're averaging anywhere from the 110s, 120s, and I think what we got up to 130 the other night, and that's just a ball centric ball hog, I guess, running the offense there, if you want to call James Harden that. It's just a different era, I guess, and different time. You brought up Scottie Pippen saying that he could have scored like James Harden had he been in our era. I'm like, come on,
Two games
bro.
in a row
Where
where James Harden scored 50-plus points, and everybody, for the most part, thought that was pretty amazing, and he was like not impressed because he says that anybody can do that. Okay, Scottie Pippen. The Scottie Pippen that was on the Bulls when Michael Jordan couldn't do it. The Scottie Pippen that was on the Bulls when Michael Jordan left couldn't do it. And the Scottie Pippen that was an asshole that didn't even play and it was worth a damn when he came to the Rockets couldn't do it. So Scottie Pippen, I got 33 reasons to tell you why you can't do it, but we'll save that for another day. Scottie Pippen, get over yourself. Unfortunately, dude, you're old. Shut the hell up. That's all I gotta say about that. It's bullshit.
And I brought up something earlier. We try to stay up and know what's going on with the Houston Rockets in the back streets, and we got our ear to the streets. We up and about. And one thing I came across that was interesting is, should the Rockets not, I guess, live up to the standards? And at this point, I don't know what the standard is, but should they not progress within the playoffs and possibly be in the finals, or at least Western Conference Finals? But this could possibly be the end of Mike D'Antoni. This could possibly be the end for even Daryl Morey. And I think on the D'Antoni side, it's purely because of not getting the best out of his talent. And I can see that. Now, as far as Daryl Morey is concerned, I'm hard-pressed to believe that it wouldn't be for any other reason than him and what happened with the China fiasco.
I think that's going to be the scapegoat. I think
tweet.
the best thing that could have ever happened to Tillman Fertitta was the fact that Daryl Morey messed up with the tweet. The thing is, Tillman Fertitta, he would have already fired him if there wouldn't be such the threat of a backlash. From all accounts, Tillman Fertitta basically strong-handed the Westbrook move, the Westbrook trade, based off of analytics, based off of what Daryl Morey wants around, and knowing that Russell Westbrook is not a great shooter and that we want free throws, three-pointers. Russell Westbrook, other than his athleticism, doesn't fit that prototype rocket. So it almost is if that basically what the rumblings are going on, and Woj actually was mentioning this in the podcast, is that the era of the Rockets this is the last year, because if the Rockets can't get to the finals, then Daryl Morey's job is gone. And it's not just, we're going to look at it that they're going to use that them not going further in the playoffs as a reason to fire Daryl Morey. They're also going to look at the fact that of the whole Hong Kong tweet. But a lot of it has to go with the fact of nepotism. And that's because Tillman Fertitta wants his son to now be the general manager of the Houston Rockets. He is doing a mentorship with Daryl Morey. Anything and everything Daryl Morey does, young Tillman is right there. Tillman Fertitta has been on record of wanting his whole family to be involved with the Rockets. And what's so sad is if we're going to fire Daryl Morey because he hadn't gotten us to the promised land, he's been with the team for over 15 years, I get that. But you don't bring in some rookie kid that doesn't know anything about relationships, that has no relationships with the NBA, and it's just someone's son. The other teams are not going to respect that.
Right.
So when we talk about the era of the Rockets, we know D'Antoni's gone. If he was going to stay, they would already extend his contract. All that could have been fixed. And if you look at D'Antoni, even the way he's coaching, it almost feels like he's already got his foot outside the door anyways. They fired his coaching staff last year. They let him know about that. Even the Russell Westbrook trade, they kind of did that without his full blessings consent on that. So at the end of the day, he's gone. So we're possibly looking at Tillman Fertitta. Did I say his name right? Tillman Fertitta. Jesus. Fertitta.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired, guys. I apologize. But we're looking at Tillman's running the new show of the Rockets, and this could easily look like a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah. No. I can see why Tillman Fertitta would basically say at the end of the day, this is the last iteration of the Rockets as we know it. James Harden, at this point, Russell Westbrook and Capella. Man, I'm be honest with you, man. I'm done with Capella. I am done. There's games where he's good. Actually, there's moments within the game where he looks great. I mean, and then within the next trip down the floor, it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, for every few steps he takes forward, he takes like a 10 backwards. I will say this though, this is probably the most probably the best season he's had yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think that he's maxed out his talent.
Yeah, I do feel like right now is the best time you can sell high on Clint Capella. So if this is Daryl Morey's last reign at being general manager, this is somebody that you're going to have to use in a trade chip, especially if that can get you a two-way player that can both shoot and score and play defense. Who?
Well, maybe not a two-way player, but at least he can shoot, a big man.
Kevin Love.
I
actually, we know he has a great relationship with Westbrook. We know he has a great relationship with Harden. We do know that the Cavaliers are one of the teams that are about to be their second year over the salary cap, so they're going to be penalized. So they're going to want to shed that contract. So if you can get back Kevin Love, and this will be the first time that the Rockets are over the salary cap. So if Tillman Fertitta is all about let's go all in and win this championship, then you can bring Kevin Love, because guess what? You can't cheat and double team James Harden or leave Westbrook wide open, because Westbrook, all he has to do is pass it to who? Kevin Love, and he has a sweet shot. He can shoot the ball.
Now, last thing on the Rockets, I want to ask you something. I was thinking about this earlier. You see what Chris Paul's doing with OKC, and OKC is not really doing anything as a team, but you see what Chris Paul's doing. Do you have any buyer's remorse?
I think not that I have buyer's remorse. I think if as a fan, we all agree that Chris Paul coming to the Rockets really made you appreciate Chris Paul's game even more so than you ever did when he was playing for other teams.
Right, yeah. 100%.
I think you saw why we, like a lot of people, consider him the point guard. I think he just does so many different things, but I do think he found his place. I think Chris Paul needs to be the man on his own team with a bunch of young players, because he
100%.
wants to be that coaching player.
Yeah.
But you can't be the coaching player when you're on a bunch of when you're on the same team, when everyone feels like you're on the same level. And the thing about it is that Chris Paul couldn't score effectively, and he struggled immensely just even getting past big men, which put that much more pressure on James Harden. But then you're over there screaming and yelling and coaching everybody. It's like, dude, you're not getting back on defense. Dude, you can't get past your player. So I just think it just sucks that Chris Paul couldn't help us get to the promised land when we were so fucking close.
And then that's true. But one thing that I mean, I can't really say this now, but as of up to this point, is just he couldn't stay healthy. He could not, for whatever reason, could not finish the season out. Just always had that health lingering injury or a straight out.
Those soft tissue injuries have just really plagued his whole career.
Never finished the season for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It sucks. But I do want to say this. What I'm really happy about is at least I know there's one team that the Rockets will be better than no matter what this year.
And that is?
The San Antonio Spurs. Shout out, Christina.
Oh, did you not find it the irony in losing to the San Antonio Spurs by, was it 1 point in overtime or 2 points?
2 points.
In overtime, right?
Yeah. No, 1 point in overtime.
Right. It was 1 point in overtime.
I think it was 2.
Okay, regardless, but the whole protest was just over the dunk, right? Which is 2 points.
135, 133.
Right. Then we come back and they come here and we play him.
Up 25 points, Christina. They were up 25 points. It's Paul's wife. I love you. You know you mean dear to me. She's a big Spurs fan.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, we're up 25 points.
But yeah, and then we ended up winning by 2 points.
2 points.
I thought that was hilarious. The irony of it was just.
It's all good though. Shout out San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, Christina.
You guys will get there again in 15 years.
This is the Sports Trapp Podcast, and I want to change topics a little bit, man. I really was impressed by the Texans. As impressed as I was with the Texans versus the Patriots 2 weeks ago, I was just as disappointed, right? When they played Who the
Denver Broncos.
Yeah. How
You
could I
can't even
forget?
remember who they are.
Yeah,
That's how irrelevant
that's
they are. in the
how
NFL.
bad of a loss it was. But
Yeah.
I will say, man, this is one of the most impressive wins I've ever seen the Texans.
It was a good game.
No, it was. It was a
really
good
good
game
game.
plan. I know you don't like me saying that. It was, hey, your boy Carlos Hyde came through. Had probably me. Through the tackles and in the holes and stuff, I thought he had his best game. Maybe not numbers wise, but just the efficiency of what he ran and how he kept the clock moving and how he kept the team moving down the field. He, to me, had his best game. And,
I think what opened up that game was the fact that right off the bat, you saw Deshaun Watson giving it to their best player, which was Hopkins.
right.
That opened up the run game. And they were throwing the ball a lot more than just trying to force a running game. The running game needs to come together naturally.
They came into an interception to start the game off. So
True that, but it was interesting because there was a block field goal and then the interception. I thought it was interesting, but you saw both teams competing. But here's the problem that I have with that, John. You're right. It was a great win, and for all those Texans fans out there, I know you hate me because you know I'm a pessimistic Texans fan, but this is the consistency with the Texans. They get a big win, a win that's important, and then they come back the next week and lose. They've been doing that the whole season. And here we go. We're going to Tampa Bay. Obviously, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing a lot better than they were playing in the beginning of the season. They're, causing some
well, see,
upsets.
actually, you're wrong. It's actually been win-win, lose, win-win, lose, win-win, lose. It's almost like an exact pattern. If Khoa, you can look that up. It's like you get a couple wins, and then for whatever reason.
But they're losing to teams they shouldn't lose to. They're after coming off of you don't go to the Patriots, beat the Patriots, and then all of a sudden you lose to
the Broncos.
To the Broncos, exactly. You don't go to Kansas City Chiefs, win there, and then who they lose to after that.
I'm not too sure. I can't remember.
If I'm not mistaken, it's the Colts.
The Colts, yeah.
So the whole point being is that the Texans still remain inconsistent. They're still having offensive line issues. They're still having offensive line as far as false starts. Our secondary is still hella suspect.
Yeah, but our safeties are great. Our safeties are, I honestly think that one play changed the game.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that the Titans were getting their momentum. Derrick Henry was leading the charge, going down the field. They were actually getting better field position than the Houston Texans. But then, was it Justin Reed, Eric Reed's son? I keep wanting to say Eric. But anyways, Justin Reed came with a big hit, popped the ball in the air, and lo and behold, Whitley Merciless goes about 90 yards down the field. I so wanted him to get into the end zone, but that changed the game for me. That completely blew up the game. And as far as what I liked about it was, even though we got into the interception, even though we weren't getting the best field position, that we were still in the game, because if you remember with the Baltimore Ravens, we got our heads were caught up in one play, and it just seemed like the end was after that one play. Whereas opposed to this, we kept on kicking the door, and finally we broke through, and lo and behold, we win the game. In my opinion, that was the momentum that swung the game open, that ended up for lo and behold, winning us the game.
Thinking about the playoffs in the future, I was feeling a little bit excited about the Texans possibly at least getting to the AFC Championship based off the way it's set up. We can all agree without there's just some major breakdown that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be there.
Yeah, they can clinch if they win. They can clinch home field advantage throughout the AFC Championship or AFC playoffs, excuse me, if they beat Cleveland, who they lost to.
Yeah, but when you look at the Texans, and the rest of the teams, okay, I think the Texans have a 50% chance of beating the Patriots. They have a 50-50 chance of beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they have a pretty good chance of beating the
Bills,
and even the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is how I felt before what happened yesterday, which was the Cardinals released Tyrell Suggs.
Oh, I know.
And the Texans didn't even try to make a claim for him.
Right.
There was 4 teams that made a claim for him. It was the 49ers.
Yes, sir.
Probably the only time we're going to mention those fools. The Seahawks, the Saints, and, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. The team with the worst record
got
him.
waiver
And guess
claim.
who that was?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Now, what team has been playing a lot better defensively as of late is the Chiefs. Now you add Terrell Suggs, who is championship bred. He's been there before. And even if he's had his lowest sack total of his career, he's still going to play big because it is the playoffs and he's going to have something to play for because guess what? He wants to win another ring. The fact that the Texans didn't go for that makes me think now that this actually puts Kansas City Chiefs in a situation, and this is the way it's going to play out, that somehow the Kansas City Chiefs are ended up playing the Houston Texans, and you're going to ask yourself, why didn't we go and get Tyrell Suggs? I mean, we lost Clowney, and then we had a chance to at least get someone that was maybe something equivalent to him in the playoffs, especially since there's nobody on our Texans team that's ever been to the championship that's won anything. It would have been nice to have another leadership role, especially if J.J. Watt can't come back. At least you have Terrell Suggs. And guess what?
Key word. I mean, honestly, I think that's what they're holding hope out for. They're holding hope that J.J. Watt can be healthy enough to return.
But even if he does return, he's not going to be as strong as he was in the beginning of the season because he's coming from a pectoral tear. You just didn't come in and just start pushing, some of these elite offensive linemen and think you're gonna be able to because he wasn't even getting to the quarterback prior to that.
No, he's having a pretty
it was okay, but like not for the J.J. Watt that you know of.
Well, you only need him for once the playoffs start. You only need him for two games. Well, 3 games. Okay, so the way it's shaping out, honestly, the one team that I think we can all agree is Baltimore is a favorite. Baltimore would probably be. For 9 times out of 10, they beat the Texans, especially the way they played them earlier during the season.
Absolutely. And I think we can all agree that they're the best team in the NFL. They're the best team in the NFL. They're the best team in the NFL.
They're the prohibitive favorites.
No, they're the best team in the NFL.
We'll see.
The best team in the NFL.
We'll see at the end of the game.
I tell you who is not the best team in the NFL.
I didn't want to bring this up.
49ers are definitely not the best team in the NFL.
I'm not bringing this up, people. I don't want to sabotage the show.
Because I know why you won't say it.
I'm just saying.
It's clearly obviously the best team in the NFL.
We're talking about the AFC here, okay? All right. Can we stay on the AFC?
Okay.
All right. So I do have a speck of hope because we beat the Chiefs, right? Mm-hmm. And we can't, in my opinion, we got a good team enough to beat the Bills, and we beat the shit out of the Patriots. So those are the teams that we could possibly be facing in the first or second round.
That's what I'm saying. Like if so obviously if we somehow win our division, then we would probably end up playing the Buffalo Bills. Now, I like to say we win this game, but what
that's not necessarily true. See, the Pats can clinch their division if they beat the Bills, but the Bills still could win this division if they were to beat the Pats.
Possibly, but we know that's not going to happen. What I'm saying, we're going by logic, right?
What do you think? Do you think Pats are taping the?
I think Pats are going to win the division, and they're probably going to be the second best team, and then Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the third best team, and then right there would be the Texans. Those will be your 4 teams, and then you have to look at your wild card, which is most likely going to be one of 3 teams, or 2 of 3 teams. It's probably going to be the Bills. They're the best shot. They have the closest chance of getting there. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers and, of course, the Tennessee Titans are still there.
Those have already clinched.
They're clinched, right? Yeah. So then it boils down to the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I actually like the Titans making the playoffs.
I tell you what, man, it's hard to beat any team 3 times in a row. I wouldn't want to say that. I didn't want to see that, especially if we don't win this week and we have to play for the division.
That's the worst scenario that can happen to Texans right now is if they have this great win, go to Tampa Bay, lose to Tampa Bay in a shootout or something stupid, and then the next thing you know you're having to play here in Houston against the Tennessee Titans, who are going to be chomping at the bit to finish their division. Because then if somehow that the Tennessee Titans win and then they actually win the division, then the Texans are in the 6th seed of the wild card, and guess who they're having to play?
The Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans are the Chiefs. Wouldn't it be the Chiefs? Because they're the lowest ranked.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Well, no.
It would have to be the Chiefs because it goes 1-2, beginning 3-4. Then you play number 3 plays the lowest seed.
The Pats, the Patriots. The Patriots are the Bills. because the Patriots and the Bills, one of those are going to be the 2 seed because
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most likely, the Patriots are going to win out, and they're going to win a division. So the 2 best teams in the AFC, they get a. So the Chiefs, not only do they end up having to play the Chiefs, but you're playing the Chiefs in Kansas City,
right?
And you lose home field advantage.
Yeah.
So it honestly,
I mean, the only thing is, we can hopefully. You like to bring up momentum. You know, if we can get a couple wins down the road and build this momentum and get the one thing that bothers me about the Texans is I do feel like whether it's coaching staff or players, I don't know how I can quantify this, but there's a mental toughness that I don't think exists in the Texans yet. Whether they can develop that or not, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But that, to me, is the reason why we win, and then lose. That's just sporadically with uncontested teams that we shouldn't be losing to.
That's why I point out the whole Tyrell Suggs. There's nobody in our team right now that comes from a championship breed. There's nobody in our team that knows about winning successfully on a consistent basis. Yeah. You bring someone like Tyrell Suggs, he knows what it means to get up for these big games. He's always been a great player in the playoffs. So by losing out on an opportunity to pick up Tyrell Suggs just shows why we should have had a fucking GM to begin with. Because the coach can't coach because he's too busy over there psyching himself out coaching. And one day he's a great coach and next week he's a horrible coach. That he can't pay attention to someone like Tyrell Suggs is on the open market that would just benefit your team. Even if J.J. Watt comes back and you have Tyrell Suggs, can you imagine those two? Because guess what? The likeliness is you're probably going to double team Tyrell Suggs quicker than you are J.J. Watt coming from injury. But that's matchup for J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
So the one thing that the Texans don't have right now is a pass rush. It's killing us right now. So I mean, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse because obviously I'm just going to sound like a Texan hater. But fuck, we could have easily picked up Tyrell Suggs. That's all I'm saying.
Now, we sat there and we talked about the Patriots. And I don't know if you guys got to see this or anybody got to see this. There's an 8-minute video. Jay Glazer, inside reporter from Fox Sports, came out. And he literally put on the TV 8 minutes of tape where it had the Patriots filming the sideline, looking for signals and stealing essentially signs from the Kansas City. The Cincinnati Bengals, who they were going to play the very next week. Who they beat again. They beat the game and beat the brakes off of, mind you, right? And I'm not one to, you know me. I think if one person's doing it, everybody's doing it. But here, in my opinion, we got the Houston Astros, and they had this whole big deal blown up about sign stealing, about something that happened because Mike Fries brought up something in 2017. Then they had the videos circulating on the internet about something that happened at the beginning of the year with banging on trash cans. This, to me, if we're going to hold that same energy and fervor for the Houston Astros, where's the national media and everybody else coming down on the Patriots when all they're doing is trying to win games to get better playoff positioning where these games actually matter, right? These games are in season, not early in the season, not 2 years from now. I'm not even bringing up the first Spygate. I'm talking about last week of somebody literally doing what was already prohibited from any team doing because they're the ones that pretty much set the precedent. And
John, I mean, unfortunately in the NFL, the only way you get, suspended or banned from the NFL is if you kneel. That's the only time. It's the only time it matters. That's it. Or if you've had your 6th conviction of drug use, then I'm just saying, like the NFL is so ass backwards, and until us fans start demanding a moral compass from the owners and most important, the commissioner, this is a consistent basis. Even when we found out that the NFL was hiding the concussion and what was going on to past players, and they were hiding it, and then they, even with that being said, these are some of our favorite players whose lives were at risk, and all we kept doing was watching. The NFL does not care, because guess what? And I know you compared the Astros, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Astros situation too. The reasons why no one cares about the Patriots is because Patriots have become the NFL for the last, 10 years? The NFL is we know that somehow, some way, the Patriots, Bill Belichick, is going to be in the playoffs, and we're hoping another team comes and dethrones them. It's just great drama. They love it, and you're not going to ban or get rid of a Bill Belichick because he is the greatest coach to ever coach and probably the greatest coach to ever cheat. It is what it is. And I know you're comparing it to the Astros, and I know it sucks, but the Astros are going to be hit so hard, and it's not just because the MLB is going to make an example out of them. It's because of this. The Astros were basically invited to a party, or they came to a party they were never invited to. And here's the simple fact is this. The Astros lost 3 years in a row with a 100-loss season. And all of a sudden they become super good, really good, better than the Dodgers, better than the Yankees. Winking at you, Yankee fans. Yeah, we better than you. And better than the Boston Red Sox in a small period of time. Basically, we showed up at the elite table and we weren't supposed to. And everybody was looking for a reason to get us out. And what better way to blackball us out than basically come down so hard on us that we can't ever go back to that table again. That's pretty much the difference. Patriots have always been invited to the table. Robert Kraft has made that possible. And it's just a different.
That's funny.
It's just a different monster.
You think that essentially saying that if this would have been the Yankees or this would have been Boston Red Sox, nothing.
Because we've seen that in the past. Listen, we go back to the World Series championships that the Yankees won. I know you guys are on your holier-than-thou righteous moment right now. You might have not banged trash cans, but you know what your players were doing? They were banging steroids in their fucking arms. You had Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, Alex Rodriguez doing steroids and basically having an advantage against other teams. So I don't want to hear this bullshit, because if the Yankees, and the matter of fact, the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox, a couple years ago, in 2017 actually, the Yankees were crying that the Boston Red Sox were cheating. Boston Red Sox were, you guys are cheating. Both investigations somehow surfaced that both teams seemed like they were both cheating. They were both penalized, but no one talks about that.
Right.
Because I guess they weren't banging trash cans.
Right.
So I guess the only way it matters is if you're banging trash cans and banging steroids. That's the difference. That's the difference.
That's it.
So that's what I'm saying, man. You have to look at it from that perspective. And I know it might sound like a whiny,
no, it's a woe is me situation, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna own that shit, because I honestly think that this is more severe. I honestly think that you have somebody that has won multiple championships. I want to say 5. Yeah, or six with Tom Brady's, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is somebody that's perennially a championship caliber coach, that has a championship caliber team, and blatantly disrespected the rules. I mean, now it would be something like if the Astros went and won 5 times in a row, and the MLB was like, stop banging on trash cans. Cool, we'll stop banging on trash cans. Then the very next game, essentially, we start banging on trash cans again. I mean, what's the point? And then at the end of the day, what deters them from ever doing that again? In my opinion, and I'm gonna end it with this. In my opinion, Bill Belichick should be banned from the league.
Well, he's never going to be banned from the league, and I'm going to tell you why he's never going to be banned from the league. Robert Kraft last year got in trouble for being in one of those massage parlors. Parlors. There we go. I don't want to go to those things, so I don't know. Anyways, but he got caught where there was illegal prostitution going on. He is an owner. He is somebody that's a representation, and he's supposed to represent the NFL, not just as an owner, because he's also the person that's helping put these rules together. Nothing happened to Robert Kraft. Matter of fact, they didn't even want to put his testimony or what was going on in the courts for everyone to see. They kept all that shit a wrap.
Wow.
Right. Here's the crazy thing about that. Ezekiel Elliott last year was accused of domestic violence, found out that he didn't hit her, but because he was part of that situation, still ended up being suspended for 6 games. So it's all about who has the power, who has the most power, and most importantly, what's best for the brand that's going to make the NFL money. And at the end of the day, there's no one to blame but us fans, because as long as we know that this is going on and we continue to watch, we continue to play fantasy football, we continue to buy jerseys, it's going to be the continuous thing. Just know that I ask you fans, you 49er fans, us Texans fans, would we get that same treatment if it was our coaches and our teams doing the same thing? Probably not. So, we won't continue to just, whine about this. But you're right, Johnny. You bring a great point, is that, and we talked about this a couple shows back, we are finally at a true moral compass in society, and it's now affecting our sports. And what's going to happen future, who knows? But it's really, really sad the way it's not consistent from
across the board.
Across the board.
100%. Yeah, no, and I honestly think that the Patriots should be banned from postseason play this year for immediately. I mean, like I don't see how anybody can see that video and not immediately find them guilty for whatever reason.
You're absolutely right. I just want to say something real fast. I just want to check in with Khoa. I know he's been really, really sick. He's been really quiet. I want to make sure he's okay. Khoa, are you okay? Are you okay out there?
You good?
You good, man? Oh, wow.
No, I'm good, dude. I'm just just conserving my breath. But I will have something to say about that. I was telling y'all earlier about just this whole cheating thing, especially with the Patriots. And, I was telling John and, and you too, just like, it just sucks because with the narrative with the Astros, like you said, we were kind of like the kid that was not, or the person, whoever that wasn't invited to the table. We weren't that championship caliber team just the year before. And then, all of a sudden we had really like the Cinderella story. I mean, it was crazy. It's a beautiful story, but of course now it's so tarnished and tainted.
Yeah, 100%.
Because of that. And I'm not taking that away, but, you compare it to someone like the Patriots, who have been arguably, the best dynasty in professional sports since 2001. And that was time when, Tom Brady's coming out year. And since then, they've won 6 Super Bowls in 18 years. That's like 1 out of 3, and then been to many others as well, and almost won others. And it's just so, yeah. I think not only is it just the parity is not as fair in NFL, of course, and we've all talked about this. I think NFL, for whatever reason, there's just money talks is a reason where NFL is still, because of TV broadcasting, the deals, they make the most money out of any professional sport. And so to take someone like the Patriots or like Bill Belichick away from it, I'm pretty sure that goes through their head like, what happens? What happens?
See, and my thing is, I agree with you, and I agree with Chris too. I understand the power struggle and the whole power structure of how the NFL works. But here's where I as a fan of the sport, and one of the reasons I was so disgusted about the MLB was the whole thing was keeping the integrity, the sanctity of the game, where everybody's has integrity and everybody's playing on an even level playing field.
Yeah.
When you have people that take that away and tarnish the game in that manner, when it's bending the rules or taking the rules and adjusting them how they want to, that makes fans disingenuous. That makes fans start to pause and maybe think that these games are fixed, or these games are not necessarily on the up and up. And same thing with football in this case. If we're gonna talk about the sanctity of baseball, and everybody holds baseball in these like unwritten rules on another level that it just is ridiculous. But why aren't we holding the same regard for football? It's almost like the announcers and people I'm watching on TV, they're literally laughing about this, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Because it's become a normal. It's become the norm. Like somebody asked me the other day, like, how is it that Donald Trump can continuously telling lies? It's because we've accepted him. We're like, he's gonna lie anyway. So what's the point of even arguing?
Then where did that come from? Where did that stem from? You see, because that's if anything the bigger problem, that we don't see all these things on an even level. Like, hey, it's like,
oh, absolutely.
Keep that same energy, right? People say it all the time. Keep that same energy. Whatever you're bringing, this animosity that you're bringing to the Astros and saying they need to be stripped of everything. They need to take all their no more postseason, no more picks, no more blah, 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 blah. Where's the same energy for someone who's doing the same thing right now?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
For Belichick. And shout out to the Yankee fans again, because I love you guys so much. You brought this onto yourselves. As much as you want us to be stripped from our championship and have asterisks, I don't see you guys giving y'all damn chips when y'all won with all the steroid use going on. You're not gonna do that, and no one brings that shit up, And here we go, no one's gonna bring up the fact that maybe of those 6 championships that they won, the Patriots cheated a lot to get to that point.
Bro, I think they did every time.
Well, guess what? It don't matter because they won, and that's the way it is. And I will say this: if you want to know how shitty the NFL is, look at what happened last year with the Saints. Clearly a pass interference. Saints should have went to the championship. So then what did they do? They changed the rule by giving a chance to challenge for pass interference. And then we found out that the NFL doesn't even know what the fuck pass interference is, because only 5 out of like 60 or something like that. It's such an inflated number, which are clearly pass interferences are not even being overturned. Now you're at the point where for the last 3 weeks, no one's even calling challenges no more because like it's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, I saw that.
So if the NFL doesn't even know their own rules, how can they hold up somebody to their own rules? I feel like they only hold people to rules when it benefits their agenda. Right now, there's nothing benefiting the agenda of getting rid of a Bill Belichick because it hurts their pockets across the board.
Right.
And Robert Kraft is one of the richest owners. So it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So we might just get to our picks, because guess what? Nothing's going to change.
This is the Sports Trapp Podcast, and my name is John Trapp. This is Christopher, Mr. Elf on the Shelf, Christopher Rodriguez. Man, all right, so I didn't have such a good week last week. I'm kind of disappointed because I had a subpar week. But, Khoa, what did it look like?
All right, so our picks last week. I just get to the most disappointing part. We all got burned once again
by the Cowboys. This fits my theory. Remember what I told you? Every time that we all either go for the Cowboys or go against the Cowboys, we lose.
Wow.
I don't even want them.
I think it's like 100%. If we all choose the Cowboys, we all like it's the.
Remember the other day where I was the only one who went for the Cowboys just to try to break that curse, and then you guys won. So I'm at this point where I just don't want you picking any more fucking Cowboy games for Game of the Weeks. I give a flying fuck about them. They're killing us, man.
Other than that, we did.
Khoa came through with that.
We swept on the Ravens. I should have picked the Packers like you told me to, but for whatever reason my gut said Bears, and that didn't pan out. Bills. We all swept that one. Got smoked by the Cowboys or the Rams, either, whatever. We all picked Rams. We all got Saints correct. And by the way, just want to give a shout out to Mr. Drew Brees.
Drew Breesy.
Oh, man. To me, easily one of my favorite quarterbacks, if not just of all time. I think he has the most accurate arm in the league.
Real quick, do you think he's
better than Jimmy Garoppolo? Yes, I do. Sorry.
Anyways, do you think he belongs in the same tier as Peyton Manning? And
I think he's better than Peyton Manning.
Absolutely.
Better than Peyton Manning.
Wow.
Better than Peyton Manning.
Wow. Okay.
Better than Peyton Manning.
Hey, man.
I know Peyton Manning won one Super Bowl with his skill set. The other Super Bowl is because of an amazing defense. So Peyton Manning has No. Because the one thing that many people have criticized Peyton Manning at is the fact that he always come up short in big games in the playoffs, and that's the truth. He's only won 2 championships. Matter of fact, would you say he's better than Eli Manning?
100%.
Well, they both are tied for 2 championships apiece.
Man, okay.
It is what it is.
Shout out to Eli getting the
Yeah,
start
there you
again.
go. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Drew Brees is a
That's
way
good,
better quarterback.
Good story.
Yeah.
He probably
But,
would have won
I mean,
another
yeah,
championship
just-
last year.
just as far as
everybody went what 4-2.
No.
Hold on, I didn't get to the last game. Or did you not want me to get to it?
No, he's
'Cause,
going to get to the last game.
Oh,
kinda embarrassed about this
the
one.
game of the week with Titans versus Texans. And once again, give me shit for being a homer pick, but who's the only one that got the damn pick right?
Well, you did get it right.
That's what I hear right now.
Qua, you did get it right. We agree you did get it right, but it wasn't like you weren't going to pick against them.
What?
Right.
You're
Right.
100% always
That's
going to
cool.
pick the Texans.
That's cool, dude. All right, man. That's cool, dude.
You have a better record. We get it.
No, I think we all we tied, right?
This
4-2?
week, let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we all got 4.
Yeah, so I
sweet.
still
1, 2,
yeah, for sure.
3,
Yeah, you finally got a winning record.
Wait.
I think I still hold the lead, but
No, I think Qua holds the lead.
no, I think he's lost the lead.
No, Qua's overall has a lead.
I don't know. Next week we'll tally it
Whoa.
up after.
Well, I know I lost.
We don't know that.
I do.
You never
Unless I
know.
go 6-0 for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right.
You did have some rough weeks, Chris.
So-
even last week, he was 1 for 6. But
All right,
anyway,
so let's go. So this week was a hard week to choose. So we're gonna go to
Okay.
primetime games and stuff like
Okay.
that. So
I'm sure the Cowboys are there, right?
for sure, man.
Fuck.
We can't. Cowboys are always gonna be in a pick.
By the way,
sixes.
there are 3
There-
games on Saturday.
yeah. What's up
this
with
week.
that? Do you know?
Is that a Christmas thing? Is that?
Is that
that's
a
not even.
college
That's
football?
before
No,
Christmas.
I think it. Well, no, it's not college football doesn't start until the 28th of December. That Saturday.
Well, that's maybe why, because it's an open weekend where they're not having to compete with anybody.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
That's what. That's the best guess.
Or
can
it
think
could
of.
just be NFL being greedy. Either way it goes. We're gonna watch them Saturday. Shout out. Make sure
All
you
right,
don't miss
so-
those games.
So that
Let's see.
means no Thursday night football, right?
Yeah,
No.
there's no Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank goodness.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. I think one of the best games on Saturday is actually gonna be Buffalo at New England. At this point, man, I'm seriously considering picking against the Patriots, and them being at New England, it's hard to beat New England in New England. I mean, I don't know how much tape they got on the sidelines of the Bills, but you know, what's the line? Maybe that might help me pick.
So they're playing in Foxborough, so it's got New England by 6.5.
6.5. Woo. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do this, but I got New England eking it out, and they get the number 2 spot in the AFC seeding. Chris, it's a hard one. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard.
Some deep thought there.
Uh-huh.
I think this was in Buffalo. I'd go with Buffalo, but because it's New England has a home field advantage. I'm just not gonna bet against him, so I got the Patriots.
Khoa?
Damn. I'll be honest right now. I don't really believe in the Patriots right now.
What?
And the fact that they're playing against someone who's trying to take their spot, because they both are fighting for that. And of course, the Patriots have the upper hand with the better record right now. But let's say the Bills win this to tie it up, and I don't know. It just I wouldn't say evens everything out, but makes it a hell of a lot more interesting to see what happens in the AFC. So I just see all the motivation on the side of the Bills, and I like the Bills shot, man. I'm gonna take the Bills.
All right, go ahead with that, man. Go ahead with that, brother.
And
I like your balls, man.
Oh, thank you.
So, Khoa, I like the way you sticking it out with the Bills. Hey man, no homo. Anyways,
Wait, Chris.
It's
What
only
does everyone know?
it's only homo when you say no homo. Good Lord.
what I mean, like your pick, you like stuck out.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
there's nothing. There's nothing
What?
about that
The
sounds.
fact that he has to explain it.
yeah. Like, I don't. What are you thinking about, bro? I know he's over there laying on the couch, cough drops in his
Guys.
mouth. Is that
JOHNTRAPP? Leave a comment in the description.
Yeah.
Now,
If you think he's gay.
now I think that this is actually a deeper game that has playoff implications, and this is the New Orleans Saints going to play in Tennessee. Now, New Orleans has to play for playoff seeding, but Tennessee is playing just to be in the playoff contention. They're actually 8-6, tied with your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a pretty good game to. I think both teams are going to want to win, but I mean, at the end of the day, one's really. If one doesn't, if the Titans don't win, they're not in the playoffs. Period.
Patriots. I mean, well, not Patriots, but the Saints. I'm curious to see how motivated they are if they even start sitting players to get healthy. They've had some nagging injuries here. This is one of those games where you like to win, but you don't have to win, and you still have a good playoff pitcher, right? Because if you're the Saints, you can just let the Seahawks and the 49ers just destroy each other and somehow still have a great playoff pitcher.
Right.
So, man, I think the Tennessee Titans played really well last week, and I'm kind of surprised that Tannehill had such a bad game, considering. And so, damn, man, you know what? I feel like this playoff picture is going to get really fucking interesting. So I got Tennessee Titans winning.
You know what? For the sake of watching something like really, really go down, I love when week 17 matters. Except for when they play a team that I like, I want them to rest. But i.e. 49ers. So I want the Saints and the Titans to have a battle. I want for the sake of week 17, I want the Titans to win. But I will say Titans are actually a better team than I think a lot of people give them credit for.
Absolutely.
And the last team to actually beat the Saints was a running type team that had a good defense and has a pretty good quarterback. Now Tannehill is unproven, just like Jimmy Garoppolo was unproven. Jimmy Garoppolo ended up having a good game. They had a good rushing attack. Derrick Henry has a good rushing attack, and the Titans have a pretty good defense as well. We all know this 49ers have a great defense. So if they have that same type of game, I think Titans can pull this out.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where the Saints, like, coming off like a big loss, which they should have won, and then coming back and blowing out the Colts. This is one of those trap games.
For the Saints?
Yeah, because I think that like I said, are they really gonna go all in, knowing that their playoffs are secure? I just hate having to play. If I was a team, I would hate having to play a team that seems a little bit more motivated than me. So
what is the line, Khoa?
It is Saints by 3.
See?
Oh wow!
So they know it's gonna be a closer
Wow.
game. Vegas knows what they're talking about. So I got Tennessee Titans, man.
Mr.
Ooh.
Khoa.
I think that's a hell of a good game. But let me see. I don't know. I still think Saints pull this one out. I even feel like, let's just say, they do decide to sit some players, i.e. Drew Brees, unless he wants to, keep going on the record and just keep throwing more for whatever reason. He doesn't need to at this point. But even behind him, they still got Teddy Bridgewater. And I think, put him in and get him some good reps for the end of the season. I think that's still a damn good contending team, even with him.
Yeah, because he's actually pretty high up there on FanDuel, whereas almost if Drew Brees is not even going to start. So I was curious to see that the other day. I was like, huh.
So even without Brees, I'm saying this is a Teddy Bridgewater Saints versus Titans, I still like that matchup. Not to disrespect the Titans at all. I don't think that they're a bad team. And maybe this is like a little bit of me wanting the Texans to really secure. That's maybe a part of it too. But how exciting would it be when it goes down to Week 17? So either way, I think it'd be cool. But I'm sticking with Saints on this one.
Saints. Hey, yeah, no, for sure, 100%. All right, man. So it's hard for me to go ahead and choose this next game, but
Damn it, I know what this game is.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
So Green Bay can actually clinch the NFC North versus the Minnesota Vikings, and they'd either be second or third depending on what happens with the Saints and whatnot. But they're having a great year. Minnesota's fighting for the playoffs. It's a Monday Night Football game. What's the line, Khoa?
Vikings by 4.
Ooh, it's at Minnesota too.
Yep.
Did they not know that Cook's probably not gonna play? Looks like he might be out. Shoulder.
Who's this?
Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Madison's out too.
Madison's out. So they're down to the third string running back. That's a big part of Thielen's been still hasn't been consistent with his injury. And you're looking at, to me, probably one of the most complete teams in the NFL right now, Green Bay, and they have a lot of momentum right now. No one even talks about the Green Bay Packers, and they're playing phenomenal. So I think this is a loss for Minnesota.
Let's just scrap. You think Minnesota's gonna win?
No, I think.
You think?
I think Green Bay's gonna win.
Who do you think?
Packers.
Okay, let's scratch this one then. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this. We'll get into the real game then.
No, it's not the real game. It's not the real game.
He wants to go to the Saturday
Rams
night. The Saturday night game.
On Saturday night.
Oh, God.
The 49ers.
This is the game you want to go with instead of the Packers?
How
about we do both? Just add it in there. We'll call that the throwaway game.
All right.
The 49er game.
49ers, of course, just to keep afloat, they have to win, right? They have to win versus the Rams, and Seahawks, for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, are going to beat Phoenix and Arizona Cardinals. So
this is an easy one. 49ers win this game.
You think so?
The Rams, what the hell happened to Los Angeles Rams? I can't believe the way they looked against the Cowboys. Now, like, two things are going to happen. Either the Rams are that bad, or they took for granted, or they thought they just were going to go in there and just beat the Cowboys, because it's really hard to say. Now, I like to believe
right.
I like to believe that the Rams are going to play with some heart and are going to play the 49ers, since it's a rival, really hard, because that's always a good matchup.
Right.
Like, they both have great defenses. I think they both have pretty much the same type of quarterback, and they love the running game. I know they're using Gurley a lot more than they have. Yes, sorry, man. Goff is just as good as your boy Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No.
Yeah, he is. I know Goff went to the Super Bowl. I know Garoppolo hadn't done shit. So I gotta say about that. Anyways, with that being said, I could easily, in spite of you, because I'm just so tired of hearing about the 49ers, go with the Rams. But I think that the 49ers losing the way they did to the Falcons, losing to the Falcons last week, I think they're going to come back and they're going to have something to prove and win.
Well, it kind of really depends on whether they get the injuries worked out, because two people went out in the middle of the game, the previous game, for hamstring injuries. They're of course, Richard Sherman's out. You have D Ford out. You have Bosa. Nick Bosa probably playing not to the level that he's played through all season, and he might be hitting that rookie wall. So we'll see what happens. The injury bug is kind of hitting us. I would love to have that bye right about now, but looks like we're gonna have to play all the way to week 17.
I know if you guys loses, if I'm wrong and you guys lose to the Rams, man, that could be really fatal for the 49ers, especially with the last game being against Seattle.
So, yeah, well, I mean, I don't think we'd have anything to play for week 17 if that's the case. I don't know how else the NFC would look up look like should the 49ers lose and Seahawks win? I know just to even have the same record, they'd have to beat the Seahawks to even be considered number 2 in the division. But at that point, I think either Green Bay or New Orleans would be number 2. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I'm sure you're picking 49ers.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers. It's a tough one for me.
I like how he's like the way he if you look on the camera, it's like as if he's really thinking about, yeah, I guess maybe the 49ers. What they're from San Francisco.
That's
right?
like me deciding if I have to pick for the Texans or not, right?
Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints. Who you got, man?
Yeah. Rams, baby.
Whoa.
Let's shake some things up, which is crazy to think about that. Niners are in this wild card position, and Rams are still in the hunt. I don't know, man. Let's shake it up.
That could be huge. That's what I'm saying, man. This could be a really good game. Although I just think that the 49ers are going to come back and play harder because they lost to the Falcons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that they will, but
You like the Rams?
I like the Rams.
I'm going to tell you right now, deep down inside, I want to pick the Rams so bad. But I feel like if I do it, it's just going to come across as if I'm doing it to go against.
Yeah.
You
guy right
want to? That's cool.
Well,
you know?
that's exactly why I'm doing it. So
I love your style. I love your style, baby. I love it.
This actually to me is the most important game of the season up until this point because it means so much as far as like playoff implications. So game of the week, game of the season, Philly versus the Dallas Cowboys. Where is this being played at?
in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Ooh, Philly's already beat the Cowboys once, right?
Philly.
And Dallas. So what's the line?
Dallas by 2.5.
Wow.
They're stupid.
Philly are home dogs. Wow.
They're stupid. I think that they're. But you know what's so crazy is that if you're a Cowboy fan, you keep wanting to try to put Dak Prescott in the MVP race because he's had statistically a good season. But he's also lost some big games too. And interesting last week, the Cowboys actually did what they kind of should have been done, and that's let Ezekiel Elliott set the tone and make the game a lot easier for Dak Prescott, and they actually won big, Damn, dude, you know what? I just don't believe in the Cowboys, man. I don't believe in the Cowboys. I don't want to go nowhere near them, but I'm gonna tell you this: if you guys all pick what I'm picking, I'm gonna back out of it really fast.
Oh.
So I'm going with the Philadelphia
Okay.
Eagles to beat the Cowboys.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Sir, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this one.
John,
we're just to go out of order to try to break this curse.
Yeah, you gotta break the trend though, cause I'm going for Eagles too, man.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
I like them, and then I'll tell you what, I picked the Eagles simply based on that bullet that Carson Wentz threw to the back of the end zone.
Carson Wentz
Sanders
is a really good quarterback,
You
man.
see that
really
video
is.
that was recorded by the fan that was like in the back of the end zone?
No.
It was basically behind Miles Sanders, and he was just kind of recording on his phone.
Yo,
sick, dude.
That thing, it was like, I guess like
with no receivers. They have no receivers.
I would imagine that's what sitting behind home plate
Yeah.
looks like when you see a pitch
Oh,
being
really?
thrown like 100 miles an hour. That ball was a bullet.
Alshon Jefferson's hurt. They have no receivers.
Listen, Carson Wentz makes some amazing plays, and I'm no one to say that he's not capable of making amazing. One of the best plays I've ever seen is him being the pocket completely collapsing, him squeezing out between linemen's legs and making a 40-yard bomb.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest plays I've ever seen, period. Like, it reminded me of Eli, straight up, right, in the Super Bowl. But I don't know if he is the guy that could win him a Super Bowl like Nick Foles did. Not that he's not better than Nick Foles.
I think it's a little unfair because prior to him getting injured, the Philadelphia, he was the best quarterback, and actually he was an MVP.
No, yeah, 100%. Nick Foles lost his job to him.
I'm just saying. I'm just.
I don't know if he could do that, what Nick Foles did, though.
All I know is that if I was a 49ers, I'd rather have wins.
So what's the difference?
What do you mean?
So what? So you're saying he's great during the regular season, but can't do it under pressure?
He's a highlight. That's all I think he is.
Well, he was highlighted enough to get them to the point of the playoffs until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Was it 2 games before the playoffs even started?
I think he's kind of like a better version of Baker Mayfield.
No, hell no.
What?
I think he's a better version than Garoppolo. I think that's what he is.
Okay, I mean we can say that Garoppolo's resume is not done, but I think I've seen enough of Wentz to
I think
say,
that,
you know what?
I think Wentz is still to be debated, just like your boy Garoppolo is still to be debated. But I think that the higher ceiling for someone who has all the tangibles of being an elite quarterback, what you were talking about earlier, is Wentz. He has all the tangibles to be that. You're also talking about a player who doesn't. I mean, honestly, the Philadelphia Eagles have been probably the most inconsistent team the last 2 years, and it has a lot to do with their offensive line that's been struggling. They also have struggled too with their receivers because they keep getting hurt, and the fact that their defense have had injuries. But time will tell. But I like Wentz definitely over Garoppolo, and I like the Eagles. Definitely like the Eagles over the Cowboys. You picking the Cowboys?
I'm picking the Cowboys.
Nice.
I'm picking.
Oh boy, we can't get burned this time.
Can't get somebody's
the Cowboys showed me a little something. You know, them versus the Rams. Now, can they keep that same intensity and same desire to really pull this out? And one thing I've always learned, especially in the division, it's really, really hard to beat the team twice. And Philly did come out and lay it to them the first game. But it's so hard for a team to, especially as decimated as Philly is. They don't have any linebackers. They're down to their third string running back. Excuse me, they don't have any wide receivers. And so if I can't believe in Wentz to take him to the promised land, I'm not going to.
Dude, Miles Sanders is going to destroy that linebacker core of the Cowboys. Let me tell you something about this, why this game is going to be gangster. First and foremost, it's in Philadelphia. The crowd is going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
The weather's going to be probably fucking ridiculous. This ain't out there in the
Kevin Hart will probably be there.
Yeah, this ain't out there in the dome that's protected and covered. The team that's the most penalized team right now is the Cowboys. They're going to eat themselves into a loss because of penalties. I like the Philadelphia crowd, the fact this is a big game, the fact that Philadelphia and Wentz wants to prove to John Trapp, because they're listening to this right now, that they are going to be, not only is Wentz going to be better than Garoppolo, but he is a true elite quarterback. I see Wentz making a big game, and I see Miles Sanders, the running back, having a big game. Yeah. I like Philly, baby.
All right,
all right. Sick game. Man, I like this.
Hey, man, make very good, valid points, but don't believe in them. Sorry.
We're probably going to lose because this is the way the Cowboys are, dude.
It's okay.
We're all losers when we pick the Cowboys. We're all losers.
So, of course, last but not least, and trap game, in my opinion, Tampa Bay is coming to Houston.
No. We're going to Tampa Bay.
We're going to Tampa Bay.
Dun, dun.
Saturday night, huh?
Hell yeah.
Short week.
No, Saturday afternoon.
Saturday, yeah.
First game of the week, of the football week.
What's the line, Khoa?
It is the Texans by 3.
Texans by 3. Damn, man. Why you got to do it by 3?
Shit, it's close. At least it ain't by 2. That was stupid.
All right. So, Chris, I don't know. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, we already know. Let's let him get out the way.
Let's get this out the way.
You already know, man. So I said last week that if the Titans beat the Texans, I didn't think that they'd win another game. And I did. I would have stood by that. But hey, we pulled it off.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I see. Okay.
Because I feel like that would have been such a morale boost. I know we would have needed it. I just felt like the momentum would have been so low and just it wouldn't have been on our side. What you mentioned earlier, remember how I didn't realize there was a pattern. So our pattern has gone loss, 2 wins, loss, 2 wins, loss. And that pattern has kept the entire season, starting with the Saints week 1. So where the pattern is at right now is that win last week against the Titans means that we're due for one more win and one more loss if it plays out the exact same way.
That'd be kind of funky.
That would be
super weird. That means we would get 2 wins into the playoffs and then essentially lose in the Super Bowl. Or actually, it could be the
if
AFC.
it
Depends on the seeding, yeah. But
That sounds about right for the Texans.
Yeah,
that'd be good though.
which is like the most
Yeah.
Texans thing.
And of course, Bill O'Brien would be back as the
course he
GM, president,
GM, offensive coordinator,
Team
Water
Chaplain.
boy, team chaplain,
jockstrap, cleaner.
therapist, all that. He does it all.
He's probably an Uber driver.
Uber
on
driver, yeah.
Tuesdays.
Absolutely.
So, Khoa, I'm
Hey,
guessing you got the
I'm
Texans.
sticking with the pattern. I'm sticking with Houston. Hey, I like Tampa Bay. Jameis had an outstanding game last week, even without one of their top receivers basically.
Both of them.
Yeah, and
Good.
big shout out
It's
to
a good one, Godwin.
Brashad Perriman for
Godwin.
stepping up. Get everybody on the waiver wire is going to go for
Perriman.
Brashad Perriman this
Yeah, boy
week
can
for
play.
sure if you are weak on your wide receiver core. So, yeah, I mean, as good as they are, I feel like we're just more of a complete team. And even though we're traveling there, I think we set the tone right. It is a little bit of a short week for us, but I think we got it.
I'm with you, Khoa. They showed me something last week. The Texans really did. Like, I think that from every point of importance, I think the Texans came through. Whether it's be momentum, whether it's be just having that wherewithal to go through a stretch that kind of wasn't benefiting or wasn't helping them out, and then sticking it out and eventually winning the game. They even came back. It was a tie game right after halftime. Within one quarter they were 14-14, and then even taking that punch to the gut, we still came back and ended up winning the game. So Texans, I think, are maturing and at the best time. So we're gonna take that momentum and take it into Raymond James Stadium, winning Tampa Bay. Christopher.
What is the
Seabrook,
record
Rodriguez.
of Bill O'Brien coming off of basically a fast week? What would you call that? I'm so tired.
Short week.
Short
Yeah.
week.
There you
Yeah.
go. What is his record off of coming off a short week?
This ain't no ESPN. I don't have that fucking stat.
Khoa doesn't know, but I'm almost assuming and guessing. If I
You
remember,
think it's zero?
I think if I'm
Zero,
if
whatever
I'm pretty
number?
if I'm pretty good, he doesn't have a winning record. I think the Texans. I think that.
He's got like a 500 career record. Period.
I'm not giving him that much credit. Bill O'Brien's predictable. I think Bill O'Brien and the Texans are already looking at their matchup against the Tennessee Titans in 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to go into this game taking it serious. I think this is one of those situations because it's a short week, and that the fact that Tennessee Titans could have still easily beat the Texans, right? There was a good game, right? I think they're already looking at the Tennessee Titans in Game 17. I don't see the Texans being truly prepared for a hot team right now. I mean, they're not going to the playoffs. We know that. But they're still a talented team as far as offensively. And I just don't think with all the receivers that they have on Tampa Bay and our cornerbacks somewhat being suspect, I just see O.J. Howard having a big game against us. I said this last week. I think O.J. Howard is about to have one of his best career games of all of his career.
He's gonna have to.
And so, like, I just feel like it's one of those games like it was in Denver where the Texans don't come out firing on all cylinders, being the aggressor, setting the tempo, and then getting behind. And you don't want to get behind a team like Tampa Bay that has nothing to lose. So, yes, I'm picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a field goal.
Now, do you honestly believe this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
I think
All
Tampa
right,
Bay-
man.
I
I don't want you to feel like you have to catch up to us.
No, I'm not catching up. I mean, I could care less at the record right now. I'm just going by what I see. I think the Texans are already thinking about Week 17 instead of Week 16. They're not. This is a short week. Bill O'Brien is just, when it comes to, he's so inconsistent on the way he strategized against a team. And to be honest with you, like, Tampa Bay is probably one of the closest teams from the way they have their players on both defense and offensively. The only thing that they're missing that's different from us is I don't think that Winston is anything close to being Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But they're very identical in a lot of their players. And I just think that when you look at it, I just think that O.J. Howard is going to be, he's going to have a dominating game against us.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to pay dividends. And I just see the Texans coming up super sluggish, super slow, expecting a win and not getting that fucking win. There's a difference in expecting a win and going and getting that win.
Right.
That's my concern.
No, I get it.
And then they're in the shit show against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, no, that whole premise is something that I've always worried about with, and I've had issues with Bill O'Brien. The whole thing of not getting up for the proper games, not being consistent with the attitude and the wherewithal within the team. So I mean, it's a good way to break this, and good measure of how far we've taken this team from the beginning to the end. And yes, I know we've brought out the pattern of win-win-lose and stuff, and that's kind of, I don't know if that's more of an indicative or more just coincidence, but at the end of the day, man, we'll see.
Even when the Texans we find something that they're actually consistent at, they're gonna find a way to fuck that up too, and they're gonna break their own scheme. They're gonna break their own winning scheme, guys. That's what the Texans do.
This is Christopher C. Rod Rodriguez. All comments CROD. My man, coming with the facts, coming with the hard truth.
Well,
man, you know what?
I guess
honestly, I can't necessarily disagree with you, but at the end of the result, I think the Texans do eat this out. But yeah, man.
Can I say this though? I want the Texans to win. I just want Deshaun Watson to be praised and be treated like the best quarterback he is in the NFL. I don't know if he's ever going to get the respect he deserves under this coaching staff. I just don't think.
Well, he is in Houston.
That's right. Welcome to the suck.
Oh man, but no, I got to get off that. I think I'm done with the whole woe is me thing. I think I had to get that out, but it is frustrating to see that. But man, you know what? Anything else we gotta add to the show? College football about to go down.
Well, I think we could probably give those picks. Let's add it to the picks. Let's do it because I mean, let's but because we're probably not going to be able to do it next week because we're at the holidays. But we can look at the 4 teams in the playoffs and say,
we got what 10 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
So December 28th, the Chick-fil-A. Jesus. Please edit that. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is going to be the Oklahoma, number 4 Oklahoma versus number 1 LSU. Barrow versus my boy.
Oh, I know, man.
Mr. Heisman himself.
I shoot, dude. Honestly,
Jalen Hurts.
As good as Jalen Hurts looks, and the story I wanted all year long was OU and Alabama.
We all did.
But lo and behold, the football gods, they are what they are, and OU versus LSU. I got Heisman, Mr. Heisman, all the way. He looks good, and then that team looks good, So, I got LSU. Well, you got that look on your face.
Because normally I would never ever say this. Normally I would never do this because I'm a strong believer. I always said this: if it's not Alabama, I'm always going to root for an SEC team.
Right.
This is the way I roll because I believe SEC is the best.
Right.
But man, it just seems to be too much hype. It just seems to be too much goody two-shoe story. Like everything is just rolling well. And I would hate to have to play a team that has a player that was a runner-up for the Heisman. Especially somebody who has, I know Burrow's story is great, but there's somebody else that might be just a little bit more motivated. And I already feel like LSU, the fans of LSU, the way the aura is around them, that they're already expecting to go to the championship. I wouldn't want to play Oklahoma. I wouldn't want to play Jalen Hurts because nothing ever makes that guy fall apart. The boy is solid. So, because I ain't got nothing else to lose. I've been losing my whole life. Keep losing. Alabama's not there. I got Oklahoma with an upset.
Ooh, that'd be
Oklahoma with the upset.
Upset of the year, in my
Yes,
opinion.
Oklahoma with the upset.
Khoa, you want to get on this?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't know about any of these teams, but I'm just shooting blanks in the dark.
That's what he said.
Hey, I will
Don't
say
say
one
it.
thing. I will say one thing, because the championship is going to be in New Orleans.
Ooh.
So if LSU does win that, I mean that'd
be sick. It'd be
crazy. That place would be insane.
Would you go?
Insane.
Would you go?
Hell no, I want to get stabbed. It's gonna be crazy over there, man.
Damn, man, I wouldn't mind making a trip out there. Just
Nah, crazy. It's gonna be too crazy. You're not gonna be able to get there. People are gonna go crazy. They're gonna riot.
But with that said,
Damn championships.
I'm sticking with Oklahoma, and that they're gonna be some mad crazy Sooner fans that are overtake.
Wow.
Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Hell
yeah.
How
Nola.
disrespectful that would be.
Dude,
Oh,
you don't
man.
understand.
That
Like,
city would be crazy.
no one's talking about Oklahoma. It's already
Right.
given that it's
Right,
LSU.
for sure.
It's gonna be LSU versus Clemson. That's what everybody wants, right?
They're good though, man. They're good.
No, LSU's really, really good. But I think this is one of those things where Oklahoma is an elite offense, and I think they're just gonna come out trickery. I think they're gonna come out super aggressive, and if LSU gets behind, that could be a problem, because I just saw the way. Listen, if you go back and look at between Alabama and against LSU, Alabama still almost won, and they didn't have their Tua.
Yeah.
So this is a high flying offense, just like the Alabama offense is. They have a lot of really good receivers, and they have Jalen Hurts, who runs on his feet.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like this, if this is close,
It'd be the best story.
dude. If this is close, let's go Jalen Hurts representing the H. Let's go, baby. I got
all
Jalen.
right, real quick. Ohio State versus Clemson. I don't know how, and I know Ohio State's favored, but I do not know how people are disrespecting Clemson like this.
They're stupid.
It baffles me, but I got
stupid.
Clemson.
I got Clemson too. Let me tell you something. Debo Sweeney got those boys. He has. If there's anything that's good for Debo Sweeney is when everyone doubts him, because he gets that team. He's really good at motivating the team. He gets in their psyche. It's like a young Nick Saban. Shout out Alabama. You know what you need to do. Anyways, Debo Sweeney is obviously like just knows how to get in those kids' head. I have them going and destroying Ohio State.
Okay. And Mr. Khoa, who you got?
Ohio State.
Wow.
The Buckeyes.
Disrespectful.
Shout out
man.
Calvin. Calvin's a big
Disrespectful.
Ohio State fan. I know he
All right,
is.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't believe
that being said, you got Khoa, you got Ohio State versus Oklahoma.
Doesn't sound crazy now that I say it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So who you got? Oklahoma, Ohio State.
Oh, for the final. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. You know what? I said Oklahoma earlier. I feel like they're gonna take it all the way.
Woo!
Oklahoma.
Really? Oh shit. Okay.
They're gonna try to take back their top spot back to where they used to be.
I'm gonna leave you for the last, Chris, because I know you. This is big time for you, because this is honestly, man, one of the greatest things that happened to college football was this playoff. So
It's fun. This is good. This is gonna be
oh
good.
yeah,
games all
100%.
across
This is looking
Sorry, guys.
amazing. Man, Clemson's
late.
been in the finals the past 3 out of 4 years, and I don't know, man. I think it's a special year. I want to choose Clemson so bad because I feel like they've been disrespectful, but I got LSU and Clemson in the final, and I'm gonna go with LSU.
the likeliness in all
Damn,
this.
tell that to Deshaun though.
I know the likeliness in all this is LSU is probably gonna win the championship, but I'm just saying they're the favorite. They have reasons to be the favorite, but if Oklahoma can find a way to beat LSU and they can get to the championship against Clemson, the team that Jalen Hurts never got a chance to beat is fucking Clemson.
Really?
I like
that's
Jalen.
right.
I like Jalen Hurts redeeming himself. I like him coming out of H-Town.
You know he got benched in that game.
I like him coming out of H-Town and representing like a
I was
mother.
sitting next to this fucker right here.
I told him, they got to pull Jalen out. Got to put Tua in. Tua is the only way they can win. That defense that they had then is not as good as the defense they have now, Clemson. But I just feel like Oklahoma has a lot of weapons, and I feel like if they can get there, man, there's something about Jalen Hurts. He gives you that Tim Tebow feeling. Like he just has that ability to win. There's not a moment too big for him. I mean, I got Oklahoma winning this, the fucking Big Ten, one of the shittiest divisions in college football, finding a way to win a championship on the back of a true SEC player,
There you
Jalen
go.
Hurts.
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go.
You heard it here first.
Let's go, baby.
My man, Mr. Christopher Rodriguez, ones and twos behind the mic, Mr. Khoa. And I, of course, am Mr. John Trapp. Thank you so much for joining us. And we got anything else? We got what? 30 more seconds?
No, we good. Yeah. Whatever you want to finish off.
Okay.
I think this is probably gonna be the last show for the holidays. So want to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Maybe just the type of person that just don't celebrate any damn thing because you just don't care. You know, props to you too, love to you as well, and just thank you for continue to support the Sports Trap podcast. We just appreciate all the love.
Yeah, of course. Piggyback off of that. Thank you so much for taking a part and enjoying this ride with us. Thank you so much, and thank you. I'm out.
Yeah. I just want to say too. Yeah, this is episode 25. So
Ding, ding, ding.
pretty big, milestone. I don't think when we started we had no idea what number we'd get to, but whether we do a show next week or not before the holidays, I definitely want to be able to do one before the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll wrap up the year, see what we're excited about for this year to come. I know there's still a lot of sports to happen with football and everything. Still going strong in basketball, and then what's gonna happen with baseball and everything. So yeah, I'm excited. So let's keep it going, and thank you for everyone that is tuning in. Keep tuning in and tell everyone about us, whether they like sports or not, because we talk about it all.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays, guys. I'm out.
Peace.
Yup.